Hey, welcome back, guys. So we're able to submit our information, but now we need to save it in the database. So first of all, we need to see what kind of information we're actually receiving. So if I go back to my plugin here, admin control inside controllers, this is the message we are sending back. But instead of this, we could send something else. So let's use dd like that and try to send request post like that. Let's try to see what is inside there, right? So I'm going to come back here and let me just write a caption here and then a link over here. Let me click to add an image and then let's hit save. And as you can see here, we get a warning. It says undefined property request post. Okay. So my bad here. It should be a function. So that's how you get stuff from the post. Okay, cool. So let me save and there we go. So we see this, don't mind this stuff at the top here. It's just from the dd function here. And what we really want is this here. So we get caption, a caption, link, a link, ID 1. So we're getting all the information that we need actually. So we know the link is this text, the caption is that text, and the ID to this item is 1. Cool. So that is good. So let's see if the slider 2 will give us similar results. So let's hit save. And as you can see, ID becomes 2. And we get the data that we typed in there. But what about the file itself? Is the file being sent? So I'll duplicate this and get this from the files version of request. So let me try and hit save. And there we go. You see, we have our text. And then we do have our file inside image here. And everything looks to be going well. Very cool. So now all we need to do is actually just save this information. Okay, so cool. We've already used the image upload thingy, so we don't have to repeat ourselves. Inside main menu, if I go to controllers here, there's the add controller, for example, where we check for files, how to upload files here, right? So that is cool. So I'm going to copy this part here. I don't need to say files okay here because the files are not compulsory, so they are optional. Yes, that's what I was looking for. So copy that, this text here, and let's put it here. Boom. Okay, there we go. So if file data, okay, what is file data anyway? Right, so let's copy these two. Copy that. Let's put these babies up here. So post data is that, files data is that. Cool. Alright, so if a file exists, things will work as intended. If there are no upload errors, it says files okay. Okay, so maybe we need this the files okay thingy. Let me copy that. Maybe we need it. I'll put it here. Alright. Now, I don't need to validate any of the text. It's up to you if you want to validate. Oh, we're not using the CSRF stuff anymore for some reason. Okay, so let's get back to roots, shall we? So I'm going to copy, actually I should copy everything here. This is exactly what I needed. So I'm just going to copy everything from here and paste it here. Yeah, that's all everything I needed here. So let's CS verify here. So what I would do is let me go to my admin view and I want to put my CSRF code here because often I forget to use this thing. So we're gonna echo it and say CSRF and close that. This is actually a function, so that will create an an input with a encrypted code that we can compare with using this function here. All right, cool. So now that that will be out the way, errors, okay. Now we don't know what menu is because here we keep referencing menu, but we should reference a different item. So here this one will be called, let's just call it slider or something. Slider is equal to new, and what I'm looking for the, we'll have slider slash, what will this be called anyway? So we're going to go to models here. Okay, there's the slider image, right? It's inside the slider namespace and it's slider image. So let me copy that. So put that there like so. Okay, good. So slider now represents this menu over here, the menu class. We replace that, or instances of this, with slider. Cool. Now we don't actually need to verify any information here because the caption could be anything, but you can run the validate thing. I'll leave it there just because you may need it in future, or you may need it in your case, because the function is there anyway. It's just that it doesn't evaluate anything, it doesn't validate anything, so it will return emptiness. So, which is cool. So let's leave that be. Wait a minute. Return empty. You know what? I keep forgetting it. Did I delete this by mistake? Let me look at other models here, like menu. Yeah, you know, I keep making this mistake. This is my bad. You know what? Let's go back to the call for a second. I think this is a mistake I made here. Let's go to the Thunder samples. Yeah, samples. Let's go to the model sample. And yeah, right here. Okay, so I keep forgetting, you know, when you're validating here, it's important to first empty all the errors that are there. So this errors should be equal to emptiness when we are starting. So it says this error is equal to empty, like that. I don't know why I forget this part. So let me copy this and let's put it here as well. All right, cool. So that it starts from 0 and then accumulates some errors, and then you check if it's empty here. Cool. All right, so there we go. Slider errors email is equal to, yeah. Okay, so this is it. Set errors, blah, 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 set value, errors. Now, in our case, instead of setting the value, because we use this when we want to get these values later in life or later in the view section, but in our case we want to just actually we want to echo these guys. So I'm going to say echo, and I'm going to say, let me do this here. I'm going to say array is equal to, no, array errors, like that, is equal to the errors in there, like so. Okay, cool. And then I want to echo this array that I've created here. But then this is an array, so I need to convert it to JSON. So I'm going to say JSON encode, like that, so that it's converted to a string, from an array to a string. Yeah, and once I echo that, then yeah, this is a little tricky here. So no redirecting will happen here, we'll just die, and we don't need this message over here. Instead, let me change from array to, let's call this info. Let me say info is equal to empty array. Now info can have success which is equal to false, and then we can change that to true once we get here. Record added successfully, but instead let's just say info success is true. Okay, that way we can return this array with extra information here. And before I delete record added successfully, I can actually copy this message and then just say info message and put that message here like so. Okay, now add, this permission here is wrong. We need this to be add slider image, so let me copy that, let's paste there. Okay, cool, very cool. Now here we can just insert everything because we have to check first if a file, what's this, a record already exists or not. So we'll do this first of all. We'll say row is equal to, and then we'll say slider, and then we'll do a where clause where we say first, and then inside first here we'll put an array. We'll say ID is equal to. Now remember that inside post data we have an ID, so from the hidden field, that is. So we'll say post data, this is an array, keep in mind, ID, like that. Now ID may not exist, it will exist because it's there. So ID, great. Now we'll check if row is equal to something, then we update, otherwise we insert a new record like so. Okay, cool. So I'm going to copy this and put it here. So if the row exists, we update, and we have to tell it which ID to update, so we'll get that from the same row that we've got, and then post data is what we add. Very cool. But how do we upload the images? That's another issue here. So let's get back to the menu add controller, because this should have somewhere, oh actually upload files is already there, so that's cool. What I've forgotten is to add an, wait, main menu, yeah, you know, I need to add a, wait a second, I need to give it a folder to go to. So let's say users manager controllers add, is that there? It's not here at all. No, I should have done this before. Okay, so I'm gonna say request. Now if you go to the request class inside core, say models and request, you see that there's an upload folder here, and that's where it leads to uploads. So I want to change that. I'll say request upload folder is equal to, let's give it a different path. We'll say plugin path, like that. And then within the plugin path, we'll create uploads, like so. And that's where the folder will be. Okay, cool. This is always better. That way you upload files for a specific plugin into the plugin folder. Okay, so image, that is cool. Okay, I think everything is good here. So let's give it a try, shall we? So we'll see the result. Oh, this will die here, right? And I don't want it to die. Actually, that's fine. What I'll do is copy this and put it here. Alrighty then. So let's try again, right? We have this. We say this is my caption, a link, Good. Let's go now to localhost phpMyAdmin to see the database. All right. So I'm gonna go to plugin PHP here, plugin PHP DB, slider images. So currently it should be empty, and it is. So let's try and upload. This is slider 2. So I'm gonna hit save. Okay. So success is false, errors, email form expired. Okay, so the form has expired. Has it? Right. Okay, so let me refresh this. A caption, a link. Let me click to get an image. Let's try again. Save. Okay, success false message, record added successfully. Why is success still false when there's a message? Oh, so here it should be true. Sorry about that. But regardless, we have actually added a record. So if I click, there it is. Look at that. Okay. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. So that has worked for slider 2. This is interesting. And ID is equal to 1. So that is not good. It's supposed to have saved this in ID 2 and not 1. So what we need to do in order to fix that is to go to our what's this? Our slider image model and include ID here for editing. So ID, so it discarded the ID param here. So we need to include it in this instance so that we can actually save the correct place. So let me go ahead and truncate this table, which is erase everything. And then let's try this again. So deliberately on slider 2, this is my caption, a link. Let's add an image. Now let's also look for that image in our slider. There is an uploads folder now, and there it is. So things are working as intended. Let me delete this file and that file as well. Okie dokie. So now let's try. Let's hit save. Okay, so success true, record added successfully. That's great. Now if I come back and see, I should see record number 2, and there it is. It says 2. Very cool. So everything is working as intended here. The only thing is we don't have a progress bar, and things don't change after, because as much as we have created this, if I refresh, it disappears. So we need that information here. Alright guys, we'll do that in the next video.